Keep
Doom.
going limp.
Doom.
Okay, so we live. Let's go. Go ahead. We're live.
Hello, everyone, and you're tuned in to Red Cup TV.
Red Cup TV.
We are back
We're back.
and black.
Red Cup, Red Cup.
I
I'm
think
your girl, E Missy K.
I'm MVIN.
I almost forgot my name. Nato Chosinko.
Oh, wow.
That's your name.
That was really
That
special.
was a joke. That was a joke.
That was special.
So Marvin, because what's in my cup
What?
may not be what's in your cup.
But it don't mean we can't talk about it.
So let's talk about it. I've been waiting since New Year's to say that to you.
Whatever. Y'all can do whatever you want. How's
Red
it going,
Cup
my
TV.
brother?
My dear brother.
Hey, did you guys see Black Panther?
Of
I
course.
did. I saw it.
I haven't seen it yet.
I feel bad for people who haven't seen it yet. Like,
You know what?
Too.
I feel like now that Black Panther is out, and a lot of my African American brothers have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? There is no excuse for you not to understand my accent or the black. I mean, if you were able to watch it with no subtitle, except the part where they speak Tosa. No, wait, I say it wrong. Tosa.
see, I was about to say I didn't understand what you just said now.
But they
Except that part, then yeah,
I
should be able
didn't.
to
I almost
understand
didn't
it.
understand what you were just saying right now.
whatever. You're just doing it on purpose.
No, you said close. You were trying to say closer, but you said Sosa or something like that.
Ah,
I was gonna wait till you were done and then
Oh,
kind of
okay.
do what I usually do when.
Okay.
It's like, okay.
But if I owe you money, you will
Okay.
understand exactly what I'm saying, right?
Oh, if you owe me money, I know every word coming out your mouth.
All
I
right.
can pick that one up. What did you think
We
about the movie?
understand.
Yeah, it was
It's
well.
It's a
It was a
Marvel
great
movie.
movie.
It's a great movie. But I think it is celebrated differently. Like African Americans are celebrating that movie differently than actual Africans. Because Africans are looking at that
Of
movie feel
course.
like, oh, it's just a Marvel movie. And they
Right.
say African in there.
Right.
African American are like celebrating that movie because he has the black cast, he has all the stuff.
Exactly.
I was pissed because one of my friend that is Caucasian said that
Mhm.
she couldn't go and see the movie or wear dashiki because people were saying that that's not appropriate.
Mm.
And she's African.
No,
Right?
she's
white.
Caucasian.
She's
She's white.
Caucasian.
Oh, okay.
And for me, I was like, that's messed up because honestly,
You want her to wear a dashiki?
she could. Do you know how many white people I know that wear
That wear
dashiki
dashikis
before
now?
Black Panther?
Okay, see now this is the because I'm probably like the black people that you're talking about
Mm.
because we're ignorant. We don't know, and what we don't know,
Yeah.
we can't really
Can't
speak on it.
really
We can't
speak
really
on it.
There are
relate
a lot
to
of
you.
white people in this world that are more.
Because
African.
like
Exactly.
and I heard
I know there are. Just like that. I think we were talking about
oh the
the
black
white,
skin, they were
the mixed girl
yeah.
who said that she didn't take the
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 role.
role and Black Panther because she didn't feel like because she's mixed that she would blend in with all of these black because most of the people that were in Black Panther were pretty dark,
Or dark.
you know. So she felt like she would be like a hypocrite. I don't know what her thoughts were, but she didn't feel like she would.
And
be
of course, I'm
appropriate for the
commenting on
role.
that. I was like, man, listen, what you just said was ignorant because what you're trying to say is like there's no light skin in Africa. Pretty much the whole north of Africa have a bunch of people that look like Persians. South, we have white people that are actually born and raised in Africa and they call themselves Afrikaan.
Mhm.
And I met more white people being proud of being African than actual African Americans saying that they're proud of being African. So for me, it was more for me. It was like, it wasn't like, I mean, I understand from a standpoint, like if you're African American, you see white people, you like cultural appropriation. But as an African, I'm looking at it like y'all both doing the same thing. I only see African
Well, you
American
don't. Here's the thing. You don't question. There's no question about your heritage, your tradition, and how you were raised.
Mm.
Here, there's a fight. There's always been this fight to identify of how do we
Exactly.
associate with each other. How
Exactly.
do, we can't do it around language. When we do it around food, then on one end, oh, watermelon is cool, and then next thing you know, if a white person feeds us watermelon, it's like, okay, you're not supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like what happened at some of these universities where they're like, okay, we're confused. We thought, and then they're like, no. But if there was a black person there and it was a culturally black restaurant or something, they fed watermelon. People are like, oh, let's go get some watermelon and chicken. So there's this cultural appropriation thing where within America, you have all these divisions of black. You could
Right.
run across another. If I saw a white woman go wear a daishiki, I wouldn't think anything of it.
Right.
You have a
Yeah,
good
'cause
time.
with me,
But
I'm
I
like,
have people within my circle, if they see a white person go wear it, I had a homeboy now. If he sees a white person with dreadlocks,
Yes.
he goes off.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, you do understand Vikings wore dreadlocks, right? And he's like, I don't care about that. That's us. And I'm like, are you sure? Because it's really just kinky hair that gets long and
seems
dirty.
like
and you knot
everything
it up.
that
we have, because of the way that our ancestors were brought here, we have a fight for our identity.
Yeah,
And
that I
so-
saw that.
Exactly. And so that's pretty much what it is. It's like, okay, we have identified with dreadlocks. We've identified with dashikis because that's what we were taught that we're supposed to. Because like I tell people all the time, like, okay, I'm American. You know, you'd say you're African American. I don't know nothing about Africa. I really don't. I've never been to Africa. I've never studied African culture. I'm being 100. You know, and that's the reason why we're here, because you're African, you study. I don't. We are three different people on three different ends of the bracket. So I understand.
I actually really understand your point of view, because I've seen a lot of African Americans saying that. But like me, I'm looking at it and be like, that's not an excuse. Because this is why
it's not necessarily an excuse. It's just not. It's not my culture. It's not what was taught in the home for 5 generations that I was brought up in. We were never taught that. It was not it was not something that was brought into our home. You know, if we wanted to have that, then it's something that we had to seek out outside, you know, of the walls
and that
of
is
our
my
home,
point. Like,
of our hub.
If it wasn't like, because this is what is being done. Okay, it's the culture that wasn't taught to you in your home, but yet it's something that is accessible. There's nothing that's stopping you to learn that. It's never too late.
Well, remember we had this conversation for our New Year's episode about Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
And you being from the continent, you looked at Kwanzaa where you had people who were of American descent, whether they be black or white, come to you and they asking you about Kwanzaa, and you're like, that has nothing to do with Africa.
Right.
Yeah.
Kwanzaa has been a door that has been open for a lot of us here in this country to start asking questions about our heritage, to start to identify, to find things we associate with.
Yeah.
So in a sense of coming up and trying to have this cultural connection with somebody you see across the room is black, like, okay, I mean, let's keep it real. Ben Carson is just as dark as I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Ben Carson and I have 2 totally different views
Exactly.
on how we approach our community.
I mean, Ben Carson said that
you know what I'm saying? He can go, if I go see Get Out, and we're going to we can tie it again. If I go see Get Out and Ben Carson goes see Get Out, we're going to go walk out and sit and visualize that movie two different ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, but
you're absolutely
if we were to walk into a room, they're going to say, well, both of y'all black.
Right.
Like, you okay using the word, the N-word, and you're not okay using the N-word. You're not okay with him using it, but you're okay. Like, and then, Ben Carson saying, well, if no one can say it, I can't say it. Then I'd be like, please, I'm going to say it, but you can't say it.
Right.
So this is the cultural difference in when somebody is so pro-black within this continent, where they look at a white person, the idea is almost like, oh, y'all stealing something else from us.
Right.
And
exactly.
Like, we can't, when they're really not.
And
exactly.
again, that's I'm not saying that when they're saying that is wrong, but I'm saying that from my perspective, like, I'm like, there's levels to this shit when you come to be African.
Yes.
No, there's definitely levels.
I'm sitting over here and be like, okay, when you talk about cultural appropriation, okay, if white people are appropriating culture, I see you guys doing that every February. Like that's how I feel. Like every February, that's the only time that I've seen black people. Like right now, we're in March.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only brother that I've seen so far wearing this.
Other than that, I wear something like this all year.
Right. Other than that,
but
you're
again,
not gonna see.
But that comes.
But
remember,
it goes into that.
Me,
like we just said, yes.
Where I'm at now, it started 15, 16 years for me from celebrating Kwanzaa, celebrating Black History Month. Then you like the levels.
But
then
was
you
it
get to this
it was
point,
accessible
like, why
to
am
you,
I only
right?
doing this at this time? Like, I can do this all year.
But it was accessible to you.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. Like, because I met some people that are like, you know what? I feel like I'm Nigerian. I'm like, you know what? That's good. Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna do some research and find, because let me flip this out. When I seen black people say, like, example, I'm Irish, they will do extensive research to find out how Irish they are. My great grandmother, and I'm like, dude, you express more will to be Irish than to be African. And honestly, I'm talking for most of the African, or if you want the original, because it's like vampires, original vampires and diluted vampires.
Right.
So as original, it's like most black people would only claim Africa when it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they have a problem, because like right now,
What do you
You-
mean when it's good?
Like right now, we talking about Black Panther, and you see most African Americans are celebrating Black Panther, and
He's talking
all
about on
that.
the masses.
and and it's great, but when now I'll be honest, like last time we talked about Ebola, most of Africa did not have Ebola. It was actually
Right.
2 countries that
Yeah,
had
it was 2
Ebola.
We talked
countries.
about
It was
that.
2
And
countries
it
that
wasn't
had
even the whole
Ebola.
country. It was like
And for some reason, it made it seems like, oh, you African, you got Ebola.
Yeah.
And like I'll be speaking with people, and they'll be like, oh, you're from Africa. Oh, so how is Ebola? And I'm like, really? But Brazil got Zika virus. Nobody's made it seems like all South Americans have Zika. They
Right.
knew it was Brazil because
Yeah.
Brazil is known for being exotic. So
Right.
I feel like there's more research because Africa is considered like the shithole. And when there's something that is good about Africa, like right now,
Mhm.
if Africa becomes the superpower, I bet you're gonna see a bunch of black people out
Yeah,
of
I
nowhere
put it like this.
when the shiki.
there's definitely a turn coming. For long time, Africa has served as the continent that has produced the world with everything they need. We would not have cell phones if it wasn't for those cobalt mines out in Africa. Okay, all the stuff that they put in these cell phones to make sure we work. So there's definitely a movement and understanding, and it starts with Hollywood. And it's funny to say this, but it is starting with these things of Hollywood letting movies out on a mass scale. Because remember, we have movies like Glory that came out,
Yeah.
Birth of a Nation that came out. There's a lot of old movies that came out that didn't cause, they made an impact, but they weren't like so culturally on a mass level like Black Panther did, where it caused everybody to not just be entertained. And when I say everybody, I'm talking about especially blacks within America, where it caused them, where you were entertained, but then at the same time you started to ask yourself the question.
And also, what I was going to point out, that's the second aspect of the Black Panther. I feel like it was something that is staged. Like how Black Panther became popular.
Uh-huh.
I personally feel like the reason why they push Black Panther right now and why Black Panther is such a huge thing is because, yes, black people, it was February, but there's an agenda behind it because Black Panther right now did 1 billion, right? And
Yeah.
right next to it is Avenger number 4.
Right.
And you know what's going to happen? White people, because they are here in numbers.
Right.
But
don't
isn't
feel
Black
like-
Panther in Avengers?
Yeah, the
He
Black
is.
Panther, he's not one of the
He
Avengers.
is,
He was
but the
recruited by
new-
Tony Stark.
The new Avenger that is coming has not only Black Panther, but have all the white.
But it has
characters.
all of them, the whole
So now
Captain America.
Disney
all
looking
of
at it like woo, we're gonna make some money off of it because if Black Panther does 1 billion, Avenger number 4, which actually was much anticipated
Right.
than Black Panther. Whoa, my goodness!
And see,
It's
here's
a new
the
record.
Here's the challenge, especially blacks in America. We need to start realizing this Black Panther is evidence of our buying power. When we went out there and started seeing Black Panther and we was posting videos and doing the Black Panther,
I know,
we
right?
influenced other people to go like, why are these black
The
people so
Shiki
happy
price
to see
went
this
up.
movie? And then they went to go see the movie. They were entertained. And then, some of them were offended by the whole colonizers thing, which was funny to me. But colonizers embarking, which also played into a message of a black dynamic within America of saying it's okay to be pro you.
Mhm.
You being pro me doesn't mean you're anti anybody else. It's okay, embrace yourself. And it was almost like with that movie coming out, here's my critique, not of the movie, but of us, blacks in America. For a lot of us, it took that movie to come out to have the confidence to even put a daishiki on.
Not only that,
You get
but
what I'm
also
saying?
I feel like that movie portrayed actually also you and I discussed that before because we have this discussion of Africanism.
Yes.
And that actually portrays for me, even when the trailer was out, I was already seeing it. That looks like it's gonna show the division between Africans and African American. Because when you look at the movies, I was telling my coworker, listen, it keeps perpetuating, it keeps showing the African American and the black guy, and the white dude is saving the situation.
Mhm.
And between the two,
Mm-hmm.
the African, which is the original one, is much better
Right.
than the guy here.
Right.
I mean, and some people mentioned that. A lot of people like went over that, but I saw a deeper meaning in that. But anyway, that's just me. I'm over analyzing stuff. Missy,
Mm-hmm.
beside the pecs and all that, what did you see in that movie? Yeah, I know. I know you were looking at Michael
Besides
Michael
the
B
scene
like.
when Mr. Jordan took his shirt off to challenge.
I know.
To challenge for the throne. What else did you see?
I'm sure you were like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, speaking about African being Africa being the new thing. So somebody pointed out, one of my friends pointed out that Beyonce is doing a new tour. Is she coming to Africa too? And I was like, I don't know why you're asking me. He's like, well, it looks like everything's about Africa. So I was thinking maybe she was gonna be on the run to Africa.
On the run through the continent. On the run through the continent.
Well, we don't know. We never know.
But that is what, from your point, where you live, how you live, what you do, you run around, and I mean, the presence of women in the movie was dynamic.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
I love the fact that they
I did,
portray,
yes.
because as a black man raised in a family full of strong, independent black women, me seeing those black women reminded me of my aunt and my mom and my
Yes.
sisters and everybody I've
Holding
been
it
raised
down.
around, because
Yeah.
they would get down like
Mhm.
that
Yes.
for me.
Exactly.
I was actually
Or with
glad
me.
to see that imagery because
I agree.
for
Yes.
the longest, I keep telling people Africans actually respect women. Women are actually considered a lot of deities in Africa. It's just a stereotype that makes it seem like Africans are like rote women, but in the vast majority, they have strong respect with women. It is true.
Never
It is true.
experienced that with African
I mean,
men.
you have
never-
experienced it because you have experienced the one that are like trying to see. It's like more like, okay, everybody have their place in life, and women is supposed to be the nurturing, is supposed to be this, but she can be also a strong black woman. And actually, historically, we have a lot of empires in Africa back in the days, and actually that was where they actually had the idea of saying, oh, you know what, Greek people have Amazon, because in Africa, they had actually a whole army before Gaddafi. They had actually all armies of only women.
Mhm.
So it's an idea that was already
Yeah.
there. And then all of a sudden, it was shown now in the history that, okay, we
And-
have the Amazon Greek culture. But
and this is
they were
why
in Africa.
a true fact like that being put into something entertaining in Black Panther, especially amongst black women, is so important to me. Especially that last scene when the general hops off and she's about to kill her husband.
Oh, don't do spoilers because some people may have not seen
If you
it.
haven't seen it by now, it's not my fault.
I agree.
I'm sorry. If you
I
haven't seen
agree.
it by now,
I read a comic book.
I
so I
agree.
haven't seen it yet. but
if
I
you're
read
watching
it.
Red Cup and that means you have everything on social media. There have been more than enough posts for
Exactly.
you to almost put the movie together.
Right.
Okay?
I have friends that still hadn't seen Get Out. I said, if you don't get out and go see it,
Lord help me.
like seriously.
So that it shows a dynamic because a lot of the movies I can't remember them all, but there are movies I recall. I'm not going to name them, but there are movies I recall that portrayed black women within America, especially, as being this strong woman of taking care of a house, taking care of 2-3 kids, doing this. But then they always made it seem like she was defeated.
Yeah.
She was broke down, defeated.
I won't
She
say
couldn't
no
get
True.
names,
she
but
couldn't hold
pretty
her
much.
power.
True.
Or they
she
portray-
wasn't Emissy Kane holding it down,
Yeah,
still making
yeah.
that shit look good.
And that's what I'm
I
saying.
think
There are more women there are more black women like that, Missy K, like the ones we saw in Black Panther, than there are ones
Yeah.
that are out there who are like Lupita's character, where it was like, I love you, but I have a passion to go do something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I
Yes.
don't love you. And I know you want to be here with me.
Yes.
And I believe it spoke to me as a man that, okay, first off, hopefully a lot of men got this. In a sense of saying it's okay if you're in love with a woman who wants to see the work. Let her go do that.
Right.
Let her go take care of her mission, and maybe
Yeah.
you may find your place. Because towards the end of the movie, you see her passion pricked him,
Right.
Yeah.
and where he was able to tie in what his purpose was into
Right.
her. The next one was when old girl hopped off that rhino or whatever and challenged her husband, and he was like, "You would kill me," and she was like, "For Wakanda, you can get it."
Yes.
Okay,
So-
so transition, my
Transition.
friend. Transition, my friend. We should talk about something else.
Oh Lord.
So, are we going to talk about the Africana video?
Oh, sure.
We could definitely tie that
Absolutely.
into
So let's watch the video first. All right.
So, what first? Well, I
Again, we're back to the 3 different dynamics here. Because when I saw it, I said, "What the fuck?"
The optics of it, with everything going on, if you don't dive into like really researching what that video is saying,
Yeah.
the optics of it, you're like, the hell is going on here?
Yeah,
When I
yeah.
first saw it, I was like, oh, they probably went into Kenya and found a village and spent the
Yeah.
night on some missionary trip and then came back to show their church everything they learned. Like, you know, some of these churches, they go out to Africa and they hook up these villages and say, oh, they needed water, they needed clothes, they needed food.
And
I
actually,
said,
and,
Wakanda
and on the contrary,
everybody.
and on the contrary, they didn't need any of that.
I have a problem with
what I
that
said.
because every time that when I used to be when I used to go to school, I go into a Christian school, and I always have this guy out of nowhere that I'll always say, "Oh, my dream is to go to Africa and preach the good news," and I'm like, "Africa don't need you." And he was looking at me like, "What do you
I'm
mean?"
sorry, Africa
and I'm like,
has the good news.
And
You
I'm
need to go
like,
to Africa to
no.
learn the good
I was
news.
like, listen, there's a lot of people here that need the good news. Finish here first,
Oh.
move out to Mexico before you go to Africa.
Right.
I mean, like,
Right.
and I was actually thinking about that like 2 days ago. I walking around and I see homeless people, and I'm like,
But everybody
come
wanna
and
go
do
to
stuff.
Africa.
But everybody want to go to Africa and build
Yeah.
houses.
people on Skid Row just as dark as the ones in Africa.
Exactly. Well, you know. But anyway, so what was your impression? Oh, you already said.
Yeah,
What was your impression?
well, no,
of
my
the
chat,
video?
like
I told
said,
you
when
my
I-
impression was.
Yeah, my impression was when I saw him, I was like, oh, this is some Christian church that went into a village thinking they brought him food, clothing, water, and, you know, some medical assistance, not knowing the village already. Understand this village has been sustaining before you came in the door for almost 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000 years. Then all of a sudden you come in and saying, oh, we need to give you this. I'm sorry, last I checked, they've been living like this and nomadic and moving around and knowing.
Yeah.
No. So,
Okay, but that's not what it was. So let's go back to the video.
yeah, I'm
So-
getting mad.
Yeah,
That's not what the video was.
somebody having flashbacks and be
Christian
like,
conservative
Jeez.
somebody
brothers.
having a stick.
Bring it back,
Anyway,
bring it back.
I'm
so
about to go in.
when I saw the video, I was like, huh, I'm not surprised. But when I was reading the comment, I saw the video in another perspective. You know, the comment shows how America is isolated.
Very.
That's one.
Yes.
Because based on how people were commenting, you know,
Yes.
black people were pretty much commenting like you.
Yes.
White people were commenting, and it shows how isolated America is.
Yes.
And to be honest, when I saw the video, I was actually happy to see how, if I say that it's gonna sound mean, but I was happy to see how ignorant American are, because I was like, listen, first of all, if you see one of the banner was saying Afrikaan.
Afrikaans.
Afrikaans,
2 A's or 3 A's?
2 A's.
2 A's.
Afrikaans are the name that are given to white people.
The Western
that
Germans
are
and everybody who came down.
born and raised in Africa. They
Okay.
are African.
Now, and the other sign that
So,
said
okay, wait,
in
wait.
Bantu education.
Wait.
Here's the
So
thing.
in Africa, they distinguish the white people as Afrikaans.
Afrikaans.
Just like America distinguished us as African Americans.
Yes.
Yes,
Just about.
and the reason why they actually call it Afrikaans with a K and 2 A is because, first of all, it came from Dutch, because most of them are Dutch descent.
Okay.
That's one. And then two, they couldn't really call themselves African, because at that time, Africans over there, they need to differentiate who is original from who is now born or who is mixed or whatever.
Colonizer.
Yeah, colonizer.
It sounds a whole lot like
Colonizer.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
if you want to say colonizer. So that's why they named themselves Africans. Back in the days, it was more like, for white people to have that name, it was more like, I came there and I conquered stuff.
Yeah, it was part of apartheid.
But after apartheid, that was the name that was given basically to every white dude that was basically white. And they have also their own language, which is actually German. I mean, it's actually Dutch mixed with Tosa and all the other languages. So
Right.
they basically is like a different dialect.
Okay.
But they see themselves as Africans. I mean, they go through the same struggle,
yeah.
you know. So when they go, I mean, there's a bunch of Elon Musk, the guy from what's his name?
SpaceX. Not SpaceX.
SpaceX, yes, and,
No, that is SpaceX.
and Tesla.
And Tesla.
He's African. Surprisingly, when he gets in America, he's ashamed of it, I guess. So that's why he says he's American now, because now he has his papers, but he's African. He's from Africa. Was born there, raised there, went to school there. He's a white nigga.
So what are you saying about the second sign?
Yeah, so
So
after I
the
watched
second
it,
sign was
we had
saying
this
Bantu,
conversation. So
yeah.
when I watched it, looking at the optics, I was like, this doesn't look like a hate rap. I'm like, what is this? I don't, you know,
No,
usually
I
you
didn't
see
get
people-
hate from it. I didn't get hate.
But when you're seeing white people,
And by the
police-
way, they were talking. They were actually speaking Tosa.
Okay.
So.
And see, and I'd never gotten to the point of like trying to get the language
See, you can
down.
do it.
But when I was watching, I was like, "This." I'm seeing an old white people holding up cell phones. It looks like there's a black woman sitting in the front. I'm like, "What is this?" So I started looking at the signs. One, I went into, and this is what everybody. I encourage you to do it. Right when I saw Afrikaans, I went right on Google. What is Afrikaans?
Okay.
And it told you exactly what Marvin just said. And then
Okay.
the other sign said in Bantu education.
Bantu education.
Yeah,
Bantu
then-
is basically the word that is used for any black people. That's actually like, you know how you have the race Caucasian?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When the first settlers got there, to make a difference between everybody that is from North Africa to South Africa, they were using those terms. Bantu means anybody that is under the region like Egypt, Morocco, or whatever, so has a darker pigment.
Mhm.
Right.
Because they're all Africans, they're all black.
Right.
Right.
But who is who? So Bantu
So now,
means
and
darker.
that's the phrase, the person who coined it, because Bantu education was a philosophy used to teach apartheid.
Mm-hmm.
This person's greater, this person's lesser.
So, what was the relevance of it for this presentation?
Well, it was more. Well, right now, let's be honest. They are basically trying to fight for their right, because unfortunately, here is the danger of affirmative action. When it works too well, whosoever was the
This is an example of
oppressor.
affirmative action working very well.
This is where I mean, like, because right now the problem that they have in South Africa is the fact that when you are white, there is almost a 50 to 60% chance that you're gonna be poor. I'm talking about piece poor. Like right now, white people usually live in shack area, and you know when you have those commercials say for $2 you can help this,
Yes.
they're literally live in those areas, but because they're white, they never see it on TV.
Yeah, they're not on videos. Because
But
white
if
people
you
ain't saying
actually-
like that, they're like, y'all
Right.
lying.
Actually go and type, like right now when you walk in South Africa, most of the beggars are not black, they are white, because what happens is they can't find no job although they went to school. And even when they're trying to apply for jobs, when you have 3 blacks that are applying for the same job, there is actually more chances of them having the job than you. Like you have less than 50% chance to have that
Kind of
job.
like here.
Kind of like here. So
But
that's what I'm
it's-
saying. That's what
it's-
happened.
And this is the energy that I think I think this is the energy. That is the energy that got Trump elected.
That's the fear.
Yeah, that's the fear that got Trump elected. I'm tired of you guys pushing this black agenda, this woman's agenda,
That's
this
immigrant affair.
LGBTQ
They're taking our
agenda. You
taking
guys
our
are pushing
jobs.
all these agendas, and y'all pushing us out. So while we seeing y'all living good, you guys are closing our coal mines.
Mhm.
You guys are closing, how we produce. Because remember, they're talking about the heart of America,
Yep.
where a lot of the policies don't affect these big metropolitan cities.
Yeah.
But if you go to middle America, you see what happened when they closed
Yeah.
the coal mine.
Right.
And then you had all these white men go home,
And they got no
and they looking on
jobs.
TV seeing everybody's agenda being pushed, but nobody's talking about them.
about it.
Right.
Yep.
So there's this idea of what you're saying that's going on in Africa for so long, like, oh, y'all trying to push us out. No, we're gonna elect our president.
right.
Yeah.
And he gonna protect us.
And unfortunately, no, that's like I said, that's what happens where, affirmative action works too well. Like it's affirmative for everyone besides it's a positive for
Yeah.
everyone
Exactly.
besides. But
Yeah.
hey,
All right.
that's just how the word is.
It
And
is.
to be honest, it goes back to Black Panther. If Killmonger had gotten his way,
Oh, right.
everything would have been reversed.
Yeah. it's
Okay, Killmonger wanted to drop off weapons of mass destruction
Right.
in the hood.
In the hood.
But the question was, who are they going to use the weapons on? Because if
Exactly.
you had taken it down there to the 60s, Hoover,
Each other.
Yeah.
Grape Street or whatever,
Right.
who are they going to shoot?
Each other.
Yeah.
Because we had something
With
called
weapons of mass
COINTELPRO.
destruction.
We had something called COINTELPRO in the J. Edgar Hoover back in the late 70s, where they had trains of guns that pulled up and just stopped like in the middle of Watson Compton, and they were full of guns. When they got
And
the
they
guns,
was open, and then people would be like, "What is that?"
who were they using them on?
Exactly.
Because they wasn't going over there. So it was almost a mentality.
Right.
You get what I'm
Okay.
saying?
They wasn't
Chad.
going to Torrance from Compton.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I'm just saying.
Let's go on to
Let's
something
light up the
lighter.
let's stop being activists for a moment and be ratchet. Cardi. Oh
no, I don't even want to talk about that.
Oh,
yet.
we're
not ready.
Speaking of ratchet, and you brought up the LGBT movement,
the
okay.
LGBTQ and A.
Yeah.
And,
Q. Did you say Q and A?
LGBTQ.
They keep adding.
They keep
letters to
adding
it.
acronyms to it.
Oh man, I don't know. Anyway,
No,
like,
that
right now,
was the funniest thing I've heard all week.
go ahead. So, what happened?
So, I saw a video of a trainee rapper.
Oh, the tranny rapper.
trainee rapper.
First of all, you cannot call them training. You have to call them transgender. It's respectful.
You can't say
Transgender rapper.
You can't say training.
I didn't know that.
It's offensive.
Okay, so
I can't
you have to
call
say
him he.
transgender.
I can't call him his. I can't call him trainee. I gotta get
No,
it together, huh?
I think you gotta give some people a pass, man. There's so many names.
I mean, yeah, if you can call black people nigga, I mean, if a trainee can call
Look,
me,
I
hey,
know-
nigga, what's up? I can be like, yeah, what's up, trainee?
this is how I
So
had it.
let's-
I go to NASCAR races.
But
And when the
anyway-
white
So
man
is this
see
the
me, they be
face
like,
of-
"What do I call you?"
So is this the face of LA now?
No, it's
No.
definitely not the face
Listen,
of LA.
I feel like there's a double standard here.
Why? Go ahead.
Because, okay, I know the video you're talking about.
Okay.
Personally, I think it was whack.
Okay,
I didn't like the video.
Set the video
Let
up.
me-
Set the video
The
up.
video is about this guy that's supposedly a trainee, and he's like the new face of
Transgender.
Transgender.
And he's like the new face of West Coast rap. And to be
No.
honest, the lyrics were whack, the beat were whack, the guy had no delivery, so the whole thing is whack.
But let's
But-
say that it was somebody else who
and that
wasn't
was my
whack.
question.
Let's
Now-
say if it wasn't somebody who
and that
wasn't
is
whack.
that is actually my point.
What
My
if
question.
Cardi B was a trainee?
Oh my goodness. Okay, for me,
I wouldn't
that's
listen
why I'm
to
saying that there's a double standard.
I wouldn't
That's-
listen to her.
That's what I'm saying that this is double standard because we have
I love
evidence.
Cardi B.
We got receipt of you saying that. Oh man, I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
marry that lady.
Oh my god.
Woo!
Oh, it's
Cardi
on
B.
tape. You can go back watch other
Oh,
episodes.
yeah.
But
You-
that's what I'm saying.
Hey,
Like
Cardi B.
so,
you can call me.
so-
I'm just saying.
so her content was not a problem.
Exactly.
Anything she was singing was not a problem until
Exactly.
she'd be like, "Oh, I used to be a dude."
You're like, oh.
And for me, it's like a double standard because if she hasn't said anything, you would have been cool about her saying, "Oh, I suck dick," or
You know-
I be slumming.
You know what?
No, here's it.
I get it from
So let's go
money.
back. We have a lot of rappers. Queen Latifah.
Frank
LGBT,
Ocean.
And I love Queen Latifah.
Frank Ocean.
She said she's not gay.
I love Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean, he's talking about things I can identify with.
Exactly.
But
we can go to Lil
But
Kim.
Frank
We'll go to-
Ocean did not come out as being gay until it was successful.
I didn't care whether he was gay or not.
You didn't care because you're. But here's my point. So why is it a
But
problem?
his point is what he said originally. It's the lyrics.
It's what he's talking
It's
about
the
that I identify.
lyrics. Now, if you're I mean,
I don't like all
we
country
still don't
music.
know what.
I don't
what's
like.
the,
I don't like hard metal
wait,
rock music.
So
What's the
if
girl-
Cardi
the
B,
white girl
so
name? The,
what would it
uh,
be?
Which one?
So
Oh,
Izzy
What?
Azalea?
no, the one everybody is still up in the air about. She did the Super
Right.
Bowl.
Miley said, "Oh, Lady Gaga."
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
And we're still up in the air about that.
I don't like Lady Gaga.
But as long as Lady Gaga and Wendy Williams are not talking about sucking nothing, then I could kind of get with it. It's just
Yeah.
music. But the moment you start, making hits, and I gotta start singing about,
Okay,
another
okay,
man's
okay.
doing another
So
man.
hold on, before you go, I
I
got
got
to
a
correct
problem.
myself.
I have
'Cause
Cardi
there's a
B.
lot of
I got a
there's a
problem.
lot of there may be a lot of West. I need to correct you on something. Nipsey Hussle is the face of West Coast hip hop right now, not this transition. Okay, right now, Nipsey, and then in a few months it's gonna be Kendrick,
Okay.
and let's not forget YG. So,
True.
and then we still got Dime Kennedy,
Okay,
Pac
so
Div, and a whole
so
lot of
right
people
now,
out there.
so right now,
Uh-huh.
all those people like right now are hot, and they're the face of West Coast, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the face of West Coast.
And Cardi B is the new face of hip female MCs.
Oh yeah, she
Right.
definitely is.
right. So
But she's the
Cardi
face
B,
of
wait,
hip-hop, fashion. She's doing it right now.
Cardi B, stripper back in the days,
Uh-huh.
now rapper. Everybody enjoy her
Yes.
upcoming ascendance. Her lyrics are what we expect from somebody that was a stripper.
Yes.
Big graphic.
Yes.
No problem with that. But
No.
the minute she say like, "Oh, yeah, I used to have an operation and I used
No.
to have do," now all of a sudden,
No.
Cardi B is wrong.
You know what? No. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a
So
hypocrite.
sucking the
Hold
dick wasn't a problem when she was a female. But
I can
once she
identify
said-
with a woman doing that.
Hold on. It's just like when Usher came out with his song, it's okay if you dance on the pole or whatever. Every time that song came on and my kids got to singing, I was like, "Skirt." No, we're not doing that.
Oh.
It's the same thing when the other, who was that? I'm in love with a stripper. The one you just
Oh,
sang.
I was thinking about
my
T-Pain.
son.
I
No.
was loving the street.
And here,
bird.
Absolutely
for me,
not.
this is where, because I'm in the content when it comes to rappers, and when Cardi B first came out, I was like, oh, this is banging. But then when I started learning about her past, I was like, I really can't feel her like that. Because I was like, I don't know, this whole thing about how she disrespected her mom and that type of energy. But then when I started hearing Cardi B talk, here is a woman who would come into interviews and say, what I did was wrong.
Yeah.
That's not how I want women to go up. Like, people started challenging her, and she would say, I didn't want to do that. I was in a situation where I felt like I had to do that.
Right.
Okay.
That's when I started respecting Cardi B.
Right.
Because
Okay.
then she was saying, it's not that, no different
So
from
what if should I said all of that and be like, oh, by the way, I used to be a dude.
well, that didn't happen. So
See, he's like that didn't happen because he's like,
that didn't happen.
Speaking of Cardi B's expecting.
and that's how you know she's not a dude.
Is it yours?
I wish I could
What?
claim. but
You
it's
don't
definitely-
sag
let me
hard
ask you a
enough.
question. Do you
it's not
think?
mine.
You don't
think-
sag hard enough.
No, I
Have
keep
you
mine.
seen her
I keep it around the
fiance?
waist.
Do you think Cardi B?
You know, it came out
pregnancy-
about Offset got caught cheating, and then she came out and was like, I got my dirt too.
Wait. Offset cheated.
There's a situation where Offset's the fiance, right?
Mhm.
Well, I guess he got caught cheating, and they asked Cardi about it, and she was like, I have my dirt too.
Oh, okay.
She was
Maybe
like,
they
that's
have
still.
open-
She was like, that's still my man.
Is it his
Barney.
baby?
I'm here. You want that Mandingo? I mean, it's not Michael Blackson, but
You're married.
you
Shut
want to
up.
go to a real safari.
You're married. Shut up.
You want to go to a real safari? Oh, we're gonna try to
You
make
did
some.
not get a
We're
pass.
gonna try to make some exceptions. Oh, actually,
Question, and this is probably gonna be something for Missy, and we'll probably chime in.
Hmm.
But there's a recent video posted, and somehow we'll go ahead and connect everybody to it.
Okay.
But so in the video, we see this woman is expressing
oh yeah, I know
herself
which one you're
that
talking about.
there's a man who came in single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's dating, actively dating, but he is by
Far.
he's single.
Yes.
He's dating this woman. She's going through cancer. He's taking very good care of her.
Yes.
Cleaning her body and being there emotionally and supporting her
He
and
needs
doing
to
everything.
clean
And then
her
while
body,
and while
though,
she
okay.
finds out he has another woman, but she identified he's not really my man,
Right.
nor is he anybody else's man.
Exactly.
So in that situation,
Mm-hmm.
not in when people are like, oh no, you're supposed to be my man, you husband. In that situation, because I think there is this gray area that is happening now as far as dating. Like you
Right.
get somebody
Yeah.
on these dating apps or something, like you go
Right.
out 3 times and the next
Yeah.
you know she
Oh,
on
you
your,
gonna delete him from your page?
yeah.
Are you gonna?
and then now
Are you gonna shut down your page?
Now they on your bumper like, oh, are you seeing other
I've
women?
seen a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of.
No, you gonna delete your
comment
page.
of
You gonna
people.
delete your profile, right? That's what they say.
Bitch,
You
I
gonna-
deleted my profile.
like I just met you.
Yeah.
Are
I
you
knew
gonna
for
change your
months.
status? Are you gonna change your status? In
Exactly.
relationship?
Are you
Be like,
changing your
yeah, in
status?
relationship with the Lord.
So in that, and this is directed towards you, Missy.
Okay.
Women today feel as if I'm not even gonna say women, I can't never, and this will chime in on this part. But as far as women and what she's saying, because there's a lot of women who commented on what she said, like, no, leave him, he ain't this, he lied to you. But then there are women
He didn't
like,
lie.
I mean, he said the truth.
He didn't lie. He just didn't give her all the freaking details.
No, but
Go ahead.
Here's a question that I had though.
He didn't.
When I think about the situation, the whole issue was the fact that she stayed with him.
Yes.
But my thing is, when was it established that the guy
well,
was?
What is your
let's
question?
let Missy
Wait.
speak.
Ooh,
Okay.
Here we go again.
Oh,
Oh,
Hold
sorry.
on.
okay.
There we go again.
Hold on.
I was like,
I know a lot of people want to be that microphone
do you-
right now. But okay.
It almost felt like did the microphone just fall on
goodness.
some pillow?
ah.
It's like, ooh, that's so
It was so
smooth.
soft.
Ooh, that
What is
so
your
smooth.
question specifically?
My
Forget
question
the
is,
question.
so
Go with the smoothness.
what are the new rules of dating that men are not understanding nowadays? Because if I go out with you, if I have not actively told you, like, I want to be,
But then again, the guy
monogamous.
was extensively taking care of her. That's like
She was in this-
So
she was,
he's a good man. Okay, I'm gonna answer your question.
Yeah.
I'm answering your
Yeah,
question.
answer the
Actually,
question.
I didn't find anything wrong with it.
I didn't.
Even when it was sent to me, I didn't find anything wrong with it for the simple fact that the video didn't state that he was married, like you said. They're just dating, or not even dating. He just met her and he just moved into this Captain Stable hole,
Plus,
or just a really good friend mode, and then they just so happen to find themselves, with more feelings and emotions for each other. And then she find out that he's that same good guy to other people.
Plus, she did mention in the video she had no reason to believe that there were other women.
Right.
So
because he treated her so well.
He was treating her like,
And here's my thing.
Exactly.
That point alone is why I feel a lot of women felt like he betrayed her or lied to her. Because he made it seem like she was the only woman. And this is my challenge I talk to.
I do it all the damn time.
And this is my challenge I talk to.
The treachery.
This is my challenge to women who are out dating now.
I mean,
where it's this idea of, he's only with me. He didn't say it, and then you find out he's dating other women. He's like, did I treat you wrong?
But then again, hold on. Because what you're saying is a little bit dangerous. Because there's two sides to it. Okay. There is actually the side where you're like, okay, if I'm treating you right, that doesn't mean we're exclusive. But if I am continuously treating you right, and you see yourself as being the unique one, you need to start asking yourself a question. Because when you ask those type, when you're on that fine line, that's like saying, you know what, I treat all my women right, so I should be playing every team.
And it's not even playing teams. He may not be at a point in his life where he wants to be in a committed relationship because of whatever it is that he has going on. But that doesn't mean that he can't date, and that doesn't mean that he can't treat the women that he date well.
And on this topic,
okay. So let me ask you a question. So if we are engaged, we're not married. If we're engaged, can I do that too? Can I talk to other?
That's
people?
different.
There's a commitment.
You're basically.
Now there's a commitment.
You know what? I think that's where there is probably a divergence in
if he was married, if they were engaged,
I put it like this.
How
it would be different.
And I put it like this, and this is an area where I agree.
So what if the person would have met your parents? Does that mean now that you guys are official?
It almost depends on the stuff. Did you meet my parents on Thanksgiving, or did you meet my parents because we just so happened to go and my mom showed up to have dinner?
No, like let's say we do during Thanksgiving and you bring her at home. Actually, see, that's where there is a difference. Like example in African culture, if you bring the girl to your family and if she sees your dad, that's it.
Hold on.
That's it.
No, wait.
You cannot skip right there.
Here's the thing. How did you meet my parents? Did you meet my parents when my mom called me and said, "Hey, can you stop picking up some milk?" And you happen to be in the car.
If it's that, I don't know. What I mean.
How do you feel about the video?
I feel like this. This goes back, and this is an area. This is an area I actually agree with something Steve Harvey said in his book. If you're dating somebody and you're emotionally getting to a point where you be exclusive, require that person. Push it out there and let them know this is what I want. And if they say that's not where I'm at, then go live your life.
That's how you get those females be like, oh, you gonna marry me?
You have a decision to make.
Because now you can't just assume in your head this person I'm dating is on the same level as me.
Exactly.
So we're gonna keep operating like, you know what? No, I'm getting uncomfortable. Listen. I'm getting to a point where we're spending so much time and I need to know.
Actions talk volume also. If you treat me like I'm the only one, you need to act like that. You cannot treat me like I'm the only one and sitting over there playing other teams.
That's bullshit.
Like so think about it. If I'm the guy, listen. If I'm the guy, I would not be over there wiping your ass when you're going through cancer where there's free booty over there.
But remember, Missy said it earlier, he was being a friend.
Exactly.
At that moment,
she never said friends. She said we were together.
No, remember
when they just met.
They just met. She just said he was being a human being to her.
Exactly.
He was just being there for her. So he wasn't even looking for no
like me. My code is listen. First of all, if I'm dating you and I'm cleaning up your ass,
we go together.
We are together. But there's no reason for me to clean your shit.
Notice what you're saying.
If I'm cleaning your shit, we go together.
We're going together.
Pretty much.
If I'm cleaning your shit, you changing your status on Facebook.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Because I'm sorry. My friends, I did it to my brother.
There is no reason for me to clean.
Guess what?
I can hit some booty over there, cancer free, and I don't have to clean that shit.
Cancer free.
And I'm sitting over there.
You've been watching Red Cup TV. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm done. I'm shutting the show down right now. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Red Cup TV. Also on Instagram, Red Cup TV. I'm your girl, EMCK.
I'm not Ocho Cinco.
And I'm MVIN.
And we up out of this. Peace.
All right.